From the Ugly Parrot Studios in Newcastle, California, the Loomis Cigar Cartel presents Beyond the Humidor, a cigar podcast for the rest of us. Hey everybody, welcome back. Scott Robinson with you for another episode of Beyond the Humidor. As usual, we're sitting back, smoking smoke, drinking drink, and talking shit. So here we go. Let's start it off from the top. Hey Gorilla, how you doing?
Gorilla's doing okay.
Just okay?
Just okay. I'm going to beat Greg to it. It's a tad warm, but you know what? We're in air conditioning, so everything's fine.
True.
It's all good.
Good man, good man. See, that intro I did at the beginning, it kind of got into his head. So, not the intro I just did, folks, the one before that.
Our practice intro.
Yes. Lawrence, how you doing there?
I'm good, man. Starting off the week. I'm on my third cigar of the day, so it's been a good day.
Shit. Keeping up with me, or I'm keeping up with you, one or the other. I'm on my third one.
Well, one of them's gainfully employed.
Gainfully employed. Okay, Greg, what do you have to say?
Quite a bit.
Oh,
Since we last recorded, we haven't been canceled yet. The edit on the episode was great. If you haven't seen it yet, the gorilla makes me look foolish, but you know what? That's not difficult to do.
He out-gorilla'd himself.
Hold on. You got to tell them specifically what they have the people have no clue what the hell you're talking about.
Then they need to go watch the episode, don't they?
Greg's right. The people should know. Go watch the episode. We're not just going to spoon feed you.
The episode. You guys have called it the episode. The episode of what?
Ocean's Gate. And we haven't received a cease and desist letter either, so we're good.
Audience, I'm sorry Scott does not appreciate that you can connect the dots as easily as we know you can. It's okay. We know that you know that when we say the show, it's the one you're fucking listening to right now.
He must think our primary audience is a bunch of Democrats.
I believe in your intelligence. But to satiate Scott, the Ocean Gate episode, the one previous to this, go to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like all the videos, all that jazz, and watch that episode because I get to make fun of Greg. And admittedly,
who is it?
Every
We're fucking close.
Goddamn time. Admittedly, I did not go full balls to the wall on Celine Dion music, Titanic movie footage for Scott's rant on the submarine because I figured I'd let him speak for himself.
And we didn't want to get sued either, but you know.
Also, we did not want to get sued by an old Canadian lady.
Yeah. So since our last recording, things have been kind of shitty, but I did have a really good fun experience. I was a guest on someone else's show other than my own.
All right, so I'm going to say this right now. That whole thing that just happened about 45 seconds ago, that's on me. I was thinking you were describing the show you were on with Anthony, not Ocean's Gate. My bad.
Oh, okay.
So
that
when you were
sense.
talking about that, I was just like, the episode.
Well, I was describing Ocean's Gate, so listen.
Okay, go on.
So that was our last episode of the Beyond the Humidor podcast. You can find it at beyondthehumidor.com or LoomisCigarCartel.com. Or YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. Hell, we're even on Twitter, but we don't use it, so, don't look for us there.
Give him a rope. He thinks he's a cowboy.
But anyway, so Anthony was kind enough to invite me onto his podcast, which was released today, in fact. And I started listening to it. It was a fun show to be on, talking about one of my favorite episodes and clearly his too, of the Best Care Anywhere podcast. And we talked about 5 O'Clock Charlie.
One of the funniest episodes of MASH, in my opinion.
Yes.
For those of you that may not remember, this is the one where the North Korean pilot in the shittiest plane known to man tries to bomb the ammo dump next to the 407 7th, and they place bets on how far away the bomb misses each day. And this has gone on for 6 consecutive weeks with him fucking up every time.
Yeah.
And then Frank wants to shoot him down and comedy ensues and yada, yada, yada. But
yeah.
It's going to be a good episode when toward the end of the episode I go, man, we're wrapping up. I wonder oh my God, we've been talking for 2 hours.
3, wasn't it?
It ultimately ended up being 3, got edited down to 2.5. So if you want to listen to a feature-length episode of a bunch of nerds talking about MASH, go over to that episode and watch it. But
yeah.
we didn't just discuss the episode though. We were talking about how Alan Alda's auctioning off the boots and dog tags he wore during the show, which got us talking about what props we'd want from the show. We talked about how Gray got into MASH. So it's a good good episode. Go check it out.
And we talk about it. It was also actually, Anthony, can I put you on the spot? One of the best introductions I think so far on his show, for whether it's himself or the guest, was mine. Which do if you can relate that one again.
Here he is, direct from Northern California. Greg Perry, his airplane, and his crippling cigar addiction.
And he's not
Which
wrong.
is not wrong. You don't have an airplane, but I couldn't think of something else to put in there.
Yeah, but you both know
Now,
my cigar
some
addiction.
Only because it won't fit in the driveway.
Some behind the scenes, because I didn't write it down, I didn't remember it. I had another intro for you that was much meaner.
Oh, I'm sure you did.
So your alternate introduction that I'll leave it only on this podcast, and people have to come listen to Beyond the Humidor to get it, is after I introduced Ethan, I was going to go, and now for our guest, the combination of malpractice and flop sweat makes it difficult for him to see Greg Perry.
Not bad.
That's great, because that's one of Frank's
I think I was going to change it to cigar smoke and flop sweat.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Not bad, Gorilla.
But we had a
You're
good time.
Quite creative.
I'll put links to the episode in all the places that matter, so if people want to go listen to me rant for 2 hours with Greg and my friend Ethan about MASH, you can do that.
Well,
it was a good time. Thank
there
you for coming
was
on.
some cigar content.
There was some cigar content. I might even clip that out and share it with the Loomis Cigar Cartel page, just so they can get that juicy cigar knowledge.
Yes.
But
Nice.
So how's your week's been since we last talked?
My week?
Yeah, your week.
Not too bad. Not too bad. Still looking to be gainfully employed.
I understand, though, that Good Dog Studios is up and running now.
Yes, my studio is up and running. I started putting up my samples on ACX, auditioning for my first audio book. And the next stop is voices.com to put a couple of show reels on there, and fingers crossed.
If you're looking for someone to read your next commercial, check out gooddogproductions.com. Is that the website?
this is the second time you've said a website that doesn't exist, I don't think. BeyondTheHumidor.com, to my knowledge, does not exist.
Oh, yes, it does.
It does?
I bought it when we first started this whole thing.
Is there anything,
Is there
anything on
a
it?
site?
It links to LoomisCigarCartel.com. It dumps you to the same page.
Jesus Christ.
Scott, what's the actual website?
There is no website as of yet.
There you go.
But if you'd like to contact me at scott@gooddogvoiceover.com.
There you go.
You know what the best part about all that is? Because of how it's connected together, I can't edit that out. All that has to stay in, or else it won't make any goddamn sense.
That's perfect. This is an episode of What the Hell Were These Guys On while we wrote it. Oh, by the way, Mr. Robinson, what are we drinking?
It's like the handicap bus has 3 flat tires.
Does it have tires?
Jesus.
Sitting on cinder blocks.
We was jacked, Daddy. Somebody stole our tires.
Why? Anyway,
This is what happens when we don't prepare, goddammit.
Oh, I'm prepared. I have my stuff to chat about. Anyway,
what
are we
drinking?
drinking?
We are drinking, thanks to Graham Wallace and Catherine over at our favorite distillery, Eclipse rye whiskey finished in rum barrels.
Quite possibly the best thing on earth.
Yes, Hogbeck Distillery knows what they're doing.
And they now have a tasting room open in, help me with the name of the town, Gregory.
In Estes Park, Colorado.
Estes Park, Colorado.
All right, everybody, look at this shit. You got to get a close-up of this. Look at this shit. Look. He's actually drinking alcohol on the freaking episode.
And he didn't even put it in the glass with an eyedropper.
Now, correct me, is Estes Park also where the, I don't know what the correct in real world name of the hotel is, but the hotel from The Shining, is that the same town?
I believe that's correct.
So, yeah, go taste.
Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe it's correct. That's up there, and then that's also where, when you're up there in September, the elk will try and kill you.
Oh, good. So, here's what you do, audience. Go in September, see the hotel, drink some whiskey, try to ride an elk.
Yeah, it's a good plan.
Woohoo!
And
Scott's gonna try that
if you
this
do
year.
those 3 things together and get asked who recommended this to you, you know nothing. You don't know about us. Shush.
Yeah.
Snitch,
That's
just get
about
stitches.
That's all about like petting a bison at Yellowstone, right?
Also, don't do that.
I don't know, Anthony. If they want to recommend, tell someone who did that. Say, how about that cigar?
Wow.
There you go, boys.
What the fuck, man? Those are our friends.
What are you going to do now, Matt?
We haven't talked to him in a while. Maybe not.
Maybe not now.
Shit.
Cheers, gentlemen.
You can, Jesus. They're good enough.
I didn't toast because I'm drinking water because at least one of us has to be sober while doing this thing.
That's good stuff.
Oh, I intend to be sober. I got to drive
I need
home.
Yeah, pretty much.
after this recording and hopefully before the next one, I'll have to reach out to my co-host on the Best Care Anywhere podcast, Ethan, because I gave him some Enigma, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave him some Enigma for his birthday from Hogback, and I have to get his opinion on that because he is a two-fisted drinking Irishman, so he will have opinions, I'm sure, on the scotch I sent him.
Not to mention the fact that he looks like a giant version of Yogi Bear.
I'm sorry, Ethan, but it's
More of a boo-boo, actually, is where I was going.
Oh no!
And at cast strength, hopefully he is careful.
Oh,
I don't think
he won't
Ranger
be.
Smith is going to like this.
Yeah, well, fuck the Ranger, boo-boo. He ain't going to catch us, see? Because I'm smarter than the average bear.
All right. Hey, gents, what are y'all smoking?
Who are we starting with?
I'll take care of it for the beginning. So, not that one. In some of the topics that I want to talk about when we get to this is some of the things that I found exciting over PCA. Now, we didn't go this year because of various reasons, but I have found in following our friends from various other podcast groups some things that really interest me. So I picked to smoke today, and I think Larry has smoked this. I don't know if you've smoked this one or not, Robinson. Maybe it was the 13th, but it's the Room 101 10th anniversary.
Amazing cigar.
Yes, it is.
You gave me one for my birthday. Outstanding shit.
Yeah. No, I picked up about 20 cigars down at Stogie's of Lodi when they did the Room 101 event, and I literally every one of those sticks that I've smoked has been just top notch. It just a great stick.
Yeah. So this one happens to be Colorado Nicaraguan wrapper. Binder and filler are not mentioned, but it's smooth. It has creamy notes. It has spice notes. I mean, it's an interesting experience, which is exactly what I would expect out of Room 101 and Matt Booth. You know, so so far I'm enjoying it. More to come at the end of the episode.
Right on. Well, I dug into my humidor, and I found the last Don Doroteo cigar that I own, and decided this would be the time I break it out and have a smoke. This is the El Legado, fine cigar by Don Doroteo. We actually had them as a guest or on the show. God, how long ago was that?
September.
Last year, yeah.
Last September.
Yeah. Look for the episode with me in the Russian hat.
Oh yeah, I was a winner there.
Yeah.
One ping only.
Exactly.
Indeed. Wrapper and binder is Sumatran, and the filler is Dominican and Nicaragua. Just a great smoke. I can't say enough good things about it. The price point is a little bit on the high side. So for this one, this would be just a treat, if you will. It's not my daily smoke, but wouldn't mind doing it like once a week, every other week, perhaps. But Don Doroteo, they got some great cigars. I still haven't tried the El Alcalde, though, the mayor.
I haven't either, but we know people.
Yes, we
may want to reach out to people's.
no doubt. Hey, Lawrence, what are you smoking?
I have a Cavalier Geneva White Series in a Toro. Habano wrapper, binder is Connecticut, and the filler is a combination of Dominican, Nicaraguan, and Paraguay tobacco. First thing I can recall that had tobacco from Paraguay. This is the original cigar blend that Sebastian started with at Cavalier. I don't recall having smoked one of these before. Now, I've had quite a few Cavalier cigars, but this is my first time with this, and it is really nice. It's got a kind of a pepper more of a white pepper, I would say, forward, front end to it. But I'm really enjoying this, just getting started on it, and it's pairing well with the Enigma. So I'm looking forward to picking up a few more of these.
Right on. Hey, Gorilla, what are you smoking there?
Scott was kind enough to let me claw through his little travel humidor because the Gorilla's humidor is fairly empty at the moment. But I have also from Cavalier the Inner Circle, which I know nothing about, so I will need some assistance.
The Inner Circle was last year's release at PCA. It is a Nicaraguan Habano Jalapa wrapper onto a Honduran Habano Jamastran Valley binder and Dominican Republic Pilado Honduran Jamastran Valley, Nicaraguan Habano Jalapa, and USA Pennsylvania filler.
Holy crap. Okay.
He don't slouch on his cigars.
No.
It's
No, the blending of the tobaccos in Cavalier stuff is, I think, what I like so much about it. You know, because we've talked time and time again about an all Dominican or an all Nicaraguan, but the cigar that they're coming out with, cigars that they're coming out with these just unbelievable blending of 4 and 5 different regions of the world. Right. Tobaccos is really something. If you haven't tried a Cavalier and you see something in your local brick and mortar, pick one up. I don't think it really would matter what you pick up. They have something for just about every range of palate. So yeah, don't shy away from that just because you may not have heard of it yet, because that's a great stick, and that goes for the other stuff we're smoking here too. Don Doroteo, his first round was at PCA last year, is kind of where he got introduced. Very good cigars coming out of his production line. And like I said, I've been really impressed with the Room 101 stuff that I've smoked recently. So yeah, we've got a pretty good representation of some quality boutique cigars right here on this program today.
Well, speaking of Cavalier, I think they came out with a new release this year at PCA.
Didn't they release two?
Would you like to know? I only know of one. But so
that's the one.
The new one is right here, and I will make sure that I get samples for you gentlemen when I see Matola at Rocky Mountain.
Ah, nice.
Because we're going to want to try this.
What is the new one called?
It is called the Domaine Rouge by Cavalier. It is the red circle. The inner circle is blue. This one is red. Unfortunately, I can't really talk too much about it because I haven't been able to find out details about it yet on wrapper, binder, filler, things like that. But it is a beautiful cigar. I will get pictures to the Gorilla so he can put these up as we talk about them. But
that wrapper is gorgeous.
Isn't it beautiful? I'm thinking it's either going to be a Corojo or a Cameroon would be my guess, but I'm not. Don't quote me on that. And if I'm wrong, Brian and Sebastian, I apologize in advance. But here's another bit. It doesn't say, but anyway, it's. I can't wait to see. This is one of the ones I'm really excited to see and smoke. That came out of this year's PCA.
Yeah, shit. I wish I was going. Damn it. Well, who knows? If I get a job, maybe.
Well, you have to have one by March because that's the next PCA.
Right.
Okay. So I just go into these that I'm excited about?
Oh, please do, man. Since we're talking about PCA anyway, let's talk about PCA. At the time we were recording this, it was about a week ago.
It was a week ago. It was done down in Las Vegas, again at the Venetian. From what I've understood from talking to a couple of people that were there, it was a nice show. Our brick and mortar found some stuff, so I'm looking forward to that coming into the shop. But a few that really tickled my fancy that I'm like, oh, I can't wait to smoke this. Yeah, I know. Poor choice of words, but it is what it is.
I wasn't going to say anything and just do the classy thing, but okay.
Room 101 announces their 14th anniversary cigar. It is Commemorating the 14th anniversary of them being in business, obviously, it is going to be a Nicaraguan Puro made in collaboration with AJ Fernandez. It is a limited edition release. We're going to have to find it and find it quickly. We're probably going to have to talk to Stogies in Lodi. Should be shipping hopefully by the end of this month.
Okay.
It's going to be in a 6x52 Toro. MSRP is around $13.99.
So $157 here in California.
In California, yes. Another one to come out that I'm really excited. I got a couple of samples of these cigars in our bags from Rocky Mountain. Okay. It's West Tampa Tobacco Company. Last year was their debut year also. They are coming out with the West Tampa Red. And what I like about this one, it's a Mexican San Andreas Maduro wrapper with a Nicaraguan binder, and the fillers are Esteli Viso, or Esteli Ligero, Esteli Viso, and Cadanga Viso. Comes in 3 sizes, a Robusto Toro and a Grande 6x60, which would be Larry's cup of tea. And mine would be the Toro, and I know, Scott, you're a Robusto, so they cover all the bases for us. Yes. It's one of the ones that I'm really looking forward to. If you haven't tried their cigars, I just found out in doing the research for this show, the closest brick and mortar for us that carries West Tampa is over in Folsom. It's the one off at Glen. I can't remember what the name of that cigar lounge.
I know which one you're talking about.
But,
I can't think of the name. It's not Adams, is it?
No, Adams is in El Dorado Hills.
Okay, my bad.
And
we
Adams
need to
is
actually
gone.
make a run over there because Dominic, the deli from Granite Bay, they own that corner pub right there in that same center.
Did you say pub, sir?
I did.
So sounds like a plan. When are we going?
I don't know.
Tomorrow.
Greg.
So the West Tampa's got a black and a white are the ones that are out now. I've tried both of them. They're really great cigars. The blenders that they have working for them really know what they're doing. They're making beautiful sticks.
Sweet.
Also, from our good friends, Apostate.
Yes, I know they're coming out with a new one. I'm looking forward to that.
If you remember our discussion from when we talked to the boys from Apostate, they were talking about they were releasing 8 in total. They were going to release the 5th one at PCA this year. In fact, the 5th and 6th were released at PCA.
Yeah. I knew somebody released 2. It was Apostate.
Apostate released the Sword of Labian. That is number 5.
Yes.
It is going to be a Churchill. It is a Corojo, Ecuadorian Corojo wrapper, Mexican San Andreas binder, Dominican filler. Nice pepper notes, I'm guessing, from the Dominican tobacco, and the Corojo and the San Andreas. It's going to be this great spice and smooth, creamy notes to it. So it's really going to be great, I think. Also, the Zarahema, don't kill me, guys, if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, but it is a Pennsylvania USA broadleaf wrapper, Cameroon and African Cameroon binder, Dominican Republic and Mexican filler. I need to smoke that one because it just sounds amazing, and they are due. Oh, and spoiler alert, 7 and 8 are coming for 2024, so that'll probably be the next release. But we've smoked all their cigars that they have out now. It is one of the best lines out there. If your brick and mortar doesn't carry it, and you're not beating your owner of your brick and mortar over the head to get them, you're not doing a good enough job. You really need to smoke these cigars. They're amazing.
Oh, yeah. You start out with the Initiatory, then you go to the Deseret. I mean, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, Initiatory, Deseret, Liahona, and Larry's favorite, the Little Flying Snake. Or the Feathered Serpent.
Ah, okay. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
The Little Flying Snake.
I was going to be like, he was close. Close
but
enough.
anyway, if you haven't checked those out, you guys really should look into those. And that rounds up what I think is exciting. There's a whole lot more, but you can't cram that much information into an hour episode.
Apostate, if you're listening, I'm out of Feathered Serpents. Help a brother out.
Yeah, they're going to send you an email. It's like, well, find your local retailer.
Our good friends at Tobacco Republic would be happy to help you.
I'm sure.
Oh, wow. I thought Perdomo was coming out with something new. I mean,
Perdomo is coming out with something new. It's the new 30th anniversary.
That's it. Okay, I didn't want to say, because I thought it was the 30th, but we just saw the 20th a year or two ago. So I was like...
No, the 30th comes out. And
okay.
I don't know much about that one. I wasn't prepared for that.
No worries. I'm just, mentioning this and, for the sake of mentioning
But with Perdomo's history of quality cigars, I expect great things. It's going to be delicious.
Yeah, my introduction to Perdomo was the 10th anniversary champagne.
Yeah,
and man, that was wild.
Talk about a starting point for an introduction to some cigars or to a new brand.
Right.
Man, yeah, that was. I got handed one of those with no band on it, so I didn't know what it was.
Right.
And I'm smoking this thing, and I'm like, "What is this?" And he wouldn't tell me for the longest time, and I was down to, where you're
burning your fingers.
Yeah, your
3-burn challenge.
Your fingernails are changing colors. Before he told me it was a Perdomo, and I was like, "Man, that was at that point that was one of the best cigars I'd smoked."
Yeah, I think I had my first one over at Perfecto Lounge over in Roseville. Mm-hmm. When they first opened up, they had Perdomo 10 years. And that with a nice ice cold glass of beer, that's big time right there.
Yeah, that's a great one with a lighter beer, a lager or something like that.
Yeah,
which that's kind of a good segue into another topic, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, take it away, man.
So 3 of the 4 of us on Saturday for Miss Daisy's birthday, I bought her a brewing class for homebrew beer. And you can bring up to like 12, 15 people. So Scott and Tiny Wife, friends and participants of the podcast, Yard Dog Coffee,
yes,
Zach and Jennifer Sanvos, and myself and our gorilla all ventured up to Auburn, up the hill from us, for a 4-hour brewing class. And it teaches you how to homebrew beer, and you get the person who happened to be my wife, because it was her birthday. The beneficiary, yes, exactly. You get 5 gallons of homebrew to take home and finish off. That we get it to the point where the yeast is put in, and now it needs to ferment, and then you cycle it off, and you can bottle it. Reintroduce the carbonation and bottle it. And the guy teaching the class he's a riot.
Fantastic.
The kind of guy you want to learn to brew beer.
Yes.
Yeah.
A goofy fucking Irishman in the best way possible.
Yes.
He was the brewer for a local startup brewery here in our area. So if you're local here in Northern California and you go to Rebellion Brewing in Auburn, Patrick's all those recipes, all those beers that they're brewing at Rebellion are his recipes. The one that Sherry chose to brew is their blonde. So I know I've had that beer. It's a good beer, so I'm looking forward to see how this turns out. Now, it's not just a course in teaching you how to brew beer. You're also drinking home brews while you were there. And then, so Patrick's in the back of the building teaching us how to home brew, and this business is open. It was on a Saturday, so he has Roy up front, and Roy is one of the premier mead distillers, brewers, whatever, for Northern California.
I made the mention when we were in that the grain room talking about grain. Pat said something about meads. I'm like, I'd be more interested in meads and ciders. And he shouts to the front store, "Hey, Roy, how many meads have you made?" And Roy just goes, "Oh, God." Like
2,600. We're all like, oh. So Patrick has 4 or 5, 6 different home brews set up on tap. So we're all sampling those in the little, 2-ounce glasses.
And
as
he's
telling us,
also doing what was the beer he gave us that he then did the pineapple essence in?
Oh, I can't
remember the beer, but he
was
demonstrating.
It was an IPA.
Yeah.
And
we drank it and we're like, oh, that's good. And he's like, okay, hang on. And he gets the pure concentrated pineapple oil.
Extract, yeah.
And he puts like
Just
an eyedropper drop in each of the cups and tells us to swirl it. Totally changes it.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it was ridiculous. But the thing that I think was the best about the brewed beer that he had is he has an Irish Red that is the recipe from Killian's Irish Red. Mm-hmm. And
I could have drank that all day,
no.
and I tried to.
So we're learning the process, and he's explaining all this as we go along, and it's a hands-on thing. You get to, you stir the kettle, you pour the stuff in, you measure the grain. It's a whole deal. He teaches you that how to sanitize, how to set up everything.
Yeah.
And you're getting a beer along the way, and you're encouraged to bring your own beer. You can do that, just no Coors Light or anything. He wants small batch type of beers, local breweries, whatever. So after it's been made, we've been made aware that Roy in the front is the local mead guy. Now
Roy's coming back.
he's
back.
breaking
Like
up
about
bottles
every
of
half
mead.
hour, he's walking over with a chilled bottle. The first one was a Mandarin mead, which
was just ridiculously good.
super
And-
tart, but in like a good way.
And so we're in there getting half pickled. It's in an unair conditioning part of this building.
Sorry, Sue.
And Tiny Wife didn't melt. Amazing.
Yeah, she looked like she was going to burst into flames a couple of times. But so we're back there, and then you're putting heat on. You got a propane burner warming this stuff up, and we're in this building, and oh god, we're sweating like crazy and drinking beer, and it was a ton of fun.
Yeah, it was.
So I think it'll be 2 more episodes before the finished product of this experiment will be ready, but we'll be drinking some of that.
Yes, we'll be drinking that on the episode. Okay, and question. Okay, now, I know Sherry... Gee, thanks, fucko.
Apparently, they don't like beer.
Yeah, the hassles of recording in Ugly Parrot Studios 35 feet from a main road.
Yeah, what are you going to do? So anyway, I know Sherry kind of overcommitted the beer she was distributing.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that's going to work.
According to the math, and I'm not sure if it's 100% right, if she does the 12-ounce bottles, she should get 45 to 50 bottles out of that 5 gallons, as long as, there's no mistakes made in transferring or bottling. But
10%, just say 10% air that goes to the beer gods.
yes, the beer gods. But yeah, we brought it home Saturday. It ferments in that jug for a week. Mm-hmm. We then have to transfer it to a new jug without sucking up the sediment off the bottom or the foam off the top. It sits in that for a week and finishes the slow ferment. And then we bottle it, and it sits for 2 weeks after that. So yeah, we're just shy of a month from being able to drink it. And it smelled amazing cooking.
Oh,
my
yes, it
God.
did.
So when does Ugly Parrot Brewing begin its business there, Larry?
No, it will not be Ugly Parrot Brewing. It will be Rusty Nut Brewing.
Oi.
And then we found out.
I got nothing.
So
We'll make an ugly parrot mead for you. Don't worry.
Yeah. Great. So when we were going through all this, he brought up water is super important in any kind of distilling, brewing, anything like that. So he's carbon filtering water, and we learned the differences and got to taste the difference between regular tap water, carbon filtered water, and then we brought up a concern because we have a well, and so that's no issue.
Basically,
but also,
it was your city tap has too much chlorine, which isn't a bad thing. That's how the city tap water stays clean and drinkable.
yeah, and too much iron and
Too
well
much
water.
iron in the well water.
So, and then we also have ditch water.
I was gonna say when are we gonna have the Ditch Witch Pale Ale or something like
well,
that?
it's the reason this came up is because he has, I got a guy that's what he calls his beer is Ditchwater Brewing. Well, it turns out Ditchwater Brewing is a local guy from this area named Curtis Johnson. And Curtis used to be my 2 younger sons' youth wrestling coach. So I've known this guy for like 25 years. So it's small world how all this stuff comes together. And but yeah, we had a great time.
Yeah.
Even though it was like,
hotter than hell.
It was Africa hot.
Well, on
it was a
Saturday it was 109.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 109. We got a propane stove.
To be
going.
honest, it probably wouldn't have been that bad if we didn't have to light up that propane stove every half hour. But
yeah, but
still.
it was a blast.
Yeah.
All the Anthony mentioned the grain room earlier, and he's got this room that has all the different hops, and just I was amazed at the flavors.
Yeah.
That we were able to get from just trying different hops.
Yeah, we were literally tasting grains and hops,
Yeah,
which
chewing
I've
up.
never done before.
Oh, me either. And that was just outrageous.
Yeah.
And the thing that made it really awesome is you can tell both Patrick and Roy are super passionate about it. Like if we had just had some random employee going, okay, you add the yeast, and it wouldn't have been as much fun. But and for people who this description will make sense to, Patrick was a former Scoutmaster, and as soon as he found out I was an Eagle Scout, it was game on. But he has that goofy Scoutmaster energy where he's having fun and cracking jokes, but he's keeping the process moving, and he's imparting knowledge at the same time. And you were just constantly engaged with him because he was just being so entertaining.
Go ahead.
I'm seeing an episode, gentlemen, later on in the year when it gets cooler. I'm gonna sit with Gorilla on his side, and Roy and Patrick are going to be here with you two, and we're going to have ourselves a hell of a fun show.
Oh, we were talking about even just doing a show and making a beer. We go over there, we got our video, and just wireless mics or whatever.
I have a 4-place wireless on order, so that can be
need.
done. We will make that happen.
That'd be a great
show. That would take
some planning, but it would be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think they'd be up for it, because one of the things that Pat said during the day to me, and I don't know if anyone else heard it, but he said one of his goals is to put liquor stores out of business. He wants people to brew at home. And I told this to my mom when we were talking about it yesterday after the fact. We were talking about making sure the room that the beer's in is cold enough because you can't have it too hot. But we were talking about it was both more complex but also easier than we thought it was.
Yeah.
Like the parts that are complex we didn't know, but the parts that we thought were going to be super hard is his constant phrase of the day was horseshoes and hand grenades. As long as you're close.
Yeah.
As long as you're close on most of it and precise at the points where it matters, like how much yeast you add, the proofing and all that, everything else you can be a little loose.
It's more art than science.
Flavor and ingredients you can be loose, but when it comes to like the yeast and stuff, that's where you have to be precise. It was just so cool.
Well, what I thought was so super cool about it is as long as you don't want to get crazy on equipment, now they have a setup that you can get where you can brew, whether it's beer, mead, but you also, there's a tower add-on to it where you can distill.
I was going to mention that.
Yeah.
So let's forget the distillation part of it for right now.
Yeah.
To get the top of the line equipment to homebrew, you're in for less than $500.
That's nothing. I thought it was higher than that.
No, you can get that whole setup as $900. It's under $1,000 to get the entire thing.
Shit.
with the tower to distill and everything.
And then after that, it's cost of ingredients and your time,
Now,
and the trial and error of you're probably gonna make a couple bad batches of crap.
Let me update that a little bit. There are going to be a couple other things you may have to pick up because you may not have them, in your kitchen, depending on what you cook, bake now.
Sure.
Hydrometer.
Yeah.
You may have to get a hydrometer because that wouldn't be something we'd have in our kitchen.
Hydrometer or hygrometer?
Hygrometer.
Okay. Because I know that both those are things.
depending on, what you're doing, you may have to get a carbon filter, like for an RV, an external carbon filter to run your water through. So you're a little bit more, but I mean, realistically, if you had to buy every component, you're at $1,000 to brew beer.
And that's if you want to do a big 5-gallon or 10-gallon batches that he was talking about. If you're just like, I'm going to probably start with 1 or 3 gallon.
Oh, on the mead? Yeah.
Yeah, because I'd rather do small batches of a bunch of stuff and try stuff as opposed to make, 100 bottles of a mead that's kind of shit my first time.
Well, you said tangerine mead?
So here's what Roy brought out, because I'll be honest, I liked the Irish Red. I liked all the beers, but I'm not that big of a beer guy. I'm just not. I don't like the really heavy, weedy, grainy taste of beer. That's just not my thing. But meads and ciders, oh fuck yeah, because you have a lot more play of what that's going to turn out like, sweeter, drier, all that stuff. But he brought out the mandarin mead that he made. It's apparent. What did he say? It's 20 pounds of mandarins for a gallon of finished mead.
Oh yeah, then you teased your mother and said that you're going to break into her mimosa Sunday.
I'm afraid no mandarin mead will be made from the mandarins on our property. Those are being saved for the frozen mandarin juice pucks my mom uses to make mimosas in the summer, which, given the heat, is a priority. Then he brought out a spiced, what the fuck was it? Like a spiced mead with persimmon in it?
Yeah.
Which as soon as he said persimmon, I'm like,
had cinnamon and persimmon.
Cinnamon
he's
and cloves.
describing it, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be fabulous.
And it was
and honestly, it was really good. The dry apple wine was another one that he's like, oh, you want to try this? And I'm
by the third. Yeah, that was the third thing.
I'm half cranked now. I'm like, yeah, sure, fill her up.
That was the third thing he brought out, and by the third one, I'm like, Roy, you could bring out a bottle that said, fermented moose piss, and I'd taste it. Like, I had a complete faith in that.
I mean, it's everything the guy poured us was off the chain, man. It was.
The sad part is he's not wrong, and I'm not a big mead guy, but I was just like, okay, I mean. It's like you, not a beer guy. I'm not a mead guy, but it was good.
Yeah, it was. You weren't looking for some place to spit it out, that's for sure. And then because a lot of the equipment he sells can be, added onto or combined with other equipment to distill, he has guys dropping off. Hey, here's this rum I distilled. You give him a little sample.
Dude, Scott was having the time of his life when he started bringing out like the mason jars with blue painter's tape on it.
Oh, the limoncello.
Yeah,
the
he had two different yellow
amazing.
limoncellos that were off the hook.
Jennifer and Tiny Wife combined the two
limoncellos.
Yeah,
no, I know.
Oh yeah,
while
we were watching the final bit of the process of putting the yeast in and getting the carboys ready to seal up. Tiny Wife, Sue, and Jen were over in the corner doing chemistry with the limoncellos and the vodka and all that.
Well, the last time limoncello was brought up on this episode, my brother was yakking pink shit all over Scott's patio.
That was the limoncello jungle juice and apple pie moonshine 4th of July party.
Oh yeah, that did your brother in.
Oh yeah,
projectile vomiting in Scott's backyard.
All those beautiful ribs. Oh.
But no, that was 100. I don't know what you paid for that. 100% worth it.
Honestly, I don't know what I paid for it either. To tell you the truth, but it wasn't.
I would
ridiculous.
do it again. I would definitely do that shit again in cooler climate. Of
well,
course.
and that's one of those things where I would go up there and talk to him and say, hey, look, man, we want to do another class. We want to make the Irish Red.
Yeah.
And we want to film it for our podcast.
Yeah.
And I'll pay, I mean, I got no problem,
I'll kick in.
throwing the guy, because it was not expensive. I don't recall off the top. I want to say $125.
That's it?
I may have to amend that next episode, but it wasn't, if that's not the right number, it was not much more than that, guys.
Put it this way, it's under about $250.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And you can bring obviously a group of friends, and whoever the main person is gets to go home with. It pays for all the ingredients. So you go home with 5 gallons of wort unfermented beer that you have to ferment. a carboy, which is the 5-gallon, or I think in that case it's a 6 or 7-gallon jug because there's headroom.
I think it's a 6.
Yeah, 6-gallon jug, and then the bung plug with the little hole in it for the one-way
the
gas
airlock.
valve. You still have to buy a lot of equipment to finish it off, and by a lot, it's a lot of pieces, but it's not a lot of money. You have to get the siphon, you have to get bottles, but that's, if you're gonna homebrew, you need that stuff anyway. So it's an investment at that point.
Yeah.
No, 100%. That'd be a fun video.
We asked Roy if you made, ignoring the cost of this class, if we went and made another batch of beer with equipment we already had, what does it come out to cost per bottle compared to buying it from the store? And what do you say, like maybe $1?
Yeah,
$1 if you count the cost of the bottle.
Yeah, and I think that's high.
Yeah.
And aren't forgive me, but aren't the bottles you're buying? It's a reusable one with a rubber clip cap on it or something like that.
So
right?
they sell 12 and 18-ounce beer bottles, and the different color. You can order custom bottle caps, and they have the cappers. So yes, if people, that's what you do. You give out the beer and say, if you bring that back, I'll refill it. So
Yeah, now you can get the bottles. You can order them that have the porcelain. Like
You know what I'm
Grolsch.
talking about, right?
Yeah,
Grolsch
the Grolsch.
is the one that was real popular when I was younger. When I was Gorilla's age, it was a green bottle and it had the white porcelain lid with a little metal rack that held it on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you were just doing home and bottling them, I would spend the money on those Grolsch type bottles.
Yeah.
I'm going to go a different direction because for almost 2 years now, I've had a 1970 stand-up Coke machine sitting over in the other shop next door that works. The can mechanism was goofed up in it, so I pulled that out, and that will hold 2 5-gallon kegs and a gas bottle. So they make and they sell them there at this homebrew store.
Hold on for a second. You're making a kegerator?
A 10-gallon kegerator.
Out of a Coke machine, yeah. So, but they sell the kegs. You know, if you go buy a keg from the liquor store or from Bevmo or whatever, it's just a standard commercial keg.
Yeah.
This one has a O-ring sealed, submarine hatch on it that you can.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are we getting in the submarine business too? Anyway.
That it's meant to be reused for home brew. So that's excuse me, I got the hiccups. That's the way I think we're going to end up going if we start doing this at home.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Is we'll just brew we'll brew it, finish it off, and instead of bottling it, we're just going to put it in a 5-gallon keg and we'll have it right there on tap.
Sounds like I better get into drinking beer with you guys.
Well, I want to try to do a cider. We want to try to do a root beer. The equipment's all the same. It's just
the method's
yeah,
different.
the method's a little different, and the recipe's different, obviously. But
And I'll say it's like any other, like if you butcher your own meat, or if you make your own bread, or if you do any of these, it's time and energy. It would 100% be easier to go down and buy a case of your favorite beer at the store, but it's cool to think, yeah, I'm having a beer with my friends, but it's beer that I made. It's something that I came up with, and that's the cool part of it.
Well, I think you're being really forward-thinking, being that the world's going to hell anyway, and we're going to be at Mad Max probably by 2025, so...
How valuable do you think people who know how to make alcohol are going to be, Scott?
Exactly. Ammo and alcohol. I've got the ammo. You got the alcohol. Let's do
let's
some
be
business.
friends.
That's right.
What are you doing? I'm protecting my alcohol supply.
Yep. I am humongous.
Jesus.
Woohoo! So yeah, that was a lot of time on that topic, but it was a hell of a lot of fun. We all had a great time. So
Well, that is, after all, why we're called Beyond the Humidor.
Well, exactly. You know, I brewed beer before. It was at a restaurant that was in Midtown, and they offered you to brew your beer. The experience was nothing like the one on Saturday. It's like you said. I mean, I don't want to be unfair, but it was the equivalent of some, kid or somebody explains it to you a little bit. You do it, whatever, you're drinking their beer and eating their food and getting fucking sloshed, but it wasn't nearly as intimate and
entertaining.
Yeah.
It was like Build-A-Beer.
I mean, honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but that's, and that comes down to the players involved.
Yeah.
Because that could have been a whole different experience with somebody that wasn't as animated and as passionate about what he was doing. You can tell, like Anthony said earlier, you can tell he absolutely loves brewing.
Yeah.
And it's the more people he can teach this craft to, the happier this cat's going to be.
I have some video clips that I took from that week, and I'll throw them in. And I think one of the clips is when we add that first batch of hops and it all starts foaming up.
Yeah.
For the first time. How excited! Genuinely, it's not a performance. He's genuinely excited that we're witnessing
and this was the
learning about it.
153rd homebrew class he's taught, and you would think it was the first one by how excited this cat got.
Well, and see, it also makes me think, because I have a passionate dislike for beer, but I bet you.
Hold on. You all right there, man?
I'm good.
You're splattering booze everywhere.
Man, booze and water.
All right, well.
So that's sacrilegious, but nonetheless, I would bet you that Patrick and I could sit down, talk, find out the flavor profiles I like, and he could find something to brew that I would like.
Oh, no, 100%.
It was. I did have that thought weirdly. There were 2 times where I'm like, this is weirdly cigar related. When he was talking about how you blend the different grains and they each have a different flavor, I'm like,
Yes.
wrapper, binder, filler. And then he mentioned he gave us all hops, like raw dried hops, and had us rub them in our hand. In the heat of our hand and crushing them, they started to get sticky because it started to express the oils. And I'm like, is that? And he's like, heating them up is going to help express.
Well, it's a
those
plant,
oils.
just like tobacco. I mean, it's no
that's
different.
exactly the same as burning cigar tobacco.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely got to get together back over there and do an Irish Red.
Yeah, no, that Irish Red was off the hook. That's what, because that was my go-to beer for a long time.
Yeah.
Because and I don't know why I can't remember the name of the place. It was in the Big Bear Shopping Center on Elm Street in downtown Carlsbad. There was this little hole-in-the-wall Italian place that a kid I went to high school with cooked at. And they did pizzas and spaghetti, calzone, stuff like that, lasagna. And they had like 4 beers on tap. And Killian's Irish Red was one of them. Oh. So my buddy, I worked with this guy, this auto body guy named Ken Fisher. And we would go in there like 3 days a week. Because you could go in there and get a pizza for $12 back then. I'm dating myself. Or if you went in on, they did all you can eat spaghetti one night, I think was $7. And, we'd go in there and eat $38 worth of spaghetti, and drink 3 pitchers of beer. And it was only 2 blocks from that place to where I live. So, if worse came to worse, you could crawl 2 blocks. But, yeah, needless to say, I drank quite a bit of Killian's Irish Red for a couple of years.
I hear that.
So what else we got going on here? How's the cigars treating everybody?
Well, actually, it's funny you bring that up. I want to start with Gorilla because he's never smoked that Inner Circle before.
I have not. It's great. It's nothing. It's not crazy. I think it has so many different tobaccos in it, but they come together into something that's nice and kind of uniform. It's very woody and a little sweet, and just the tiniest little bit of pepper, just minuscule amount, which I like. I think I said it a couple episodes ago. I don't like the really heavy peppery cigars.
I know that one of the ones that Cavalier came out with, limited edition 200 boxes, the BMO. It's a jalapa wrapper leaf for that stick, and that is where you get that sweetness, because that jalapa leaf has a lot of sweetness in that oil, and it just comes out really, really well.
Now this, like I said, this is my first time smoking the White Series, and it's probably it'll be a little bit more peppery than the Inner Circle, but again, it's not ridiculous. It gives you just a nice little bit of edge on your tongue as you're drawn in, and very, very smooth. really uniform burn on this. I haven't had to touch this up other than, just a little bit for not rotating the cigar, and I was talking too much. But no, I'm really happy with this, as I have been with everything I've tried from Cavalier. They make a great product.
Yeah, this Don Doroteo definitely doesn't disappoint. The flavor is consistent throughout. It is a smooth, mellow flavor. I can't give you what the tastes are. I know the old joke of lemon, raccoon, and such.
Lamb, banana, and raccoon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Can't give you that, but it's just a nice, it's just a really nice cigar. Something that is not clashing with our drink here, but it's good stuff, man. I mean, like I said, if you have a chance to get a hold of a Don Doroteo, definitely do that.
Yeah, and I'm blanking on my first Room 101 was a while ago, and I'm blanking. It was a very odd name. It was one of Danny's favorites. It's one of my favorites. We only had a couple of them left, and Craig bought them, and we smoked them. So my Room 101 was that one stick, and then getting back into it with going down to Stogie's there in Lodi. The line is so diverse in all the different ones that he's got that no matter what mood you're in, you're going to find one that you enjoy. You're going to find one to fit that particular moment in time. And you get the time to enjoy it. I mean, I'm only halfway through this thing, and we've been on, for about an hour now?
Mm-hmm.
So, super smooth, great flavors. I had a touch of whiskey, and I'm drinking a Dr. Pepper here, for lack of a better term, and it doesn't even clash with that. The taste is there. The profile is there. It's a really good stick. So, Room 101, if it's not in your wheelhouse, it should get on your radar pretty quick.
Yeah, most definitely. So, gentlemen, I think we went around the room here with the cigars, finishing them off. Think it's about that time?
I did want to ask real quick, what was the name of his brew shop? Because we talked about it for an hour, and I figured, is it O'Hara's
Homebrew Store
in Auburn?
Yeah, it's on Highway 49 in Auburn. He has literally every single thing you could possibly need to homebrew or distill.
And to quote Roy, if they don't have it, they can get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all kinds of literature, how to brew book that Sherry picked up, which is basically the how to homebrew Bible. The Gorilla got a making mead book.
The Complete Mead Maker by Ken Schramm. I've already read about a fifth of it, and it's cool. Can we just do another hour talking about this? Because I'm so looking forward to it.
Hey, there's always another show.
I have thoughts, and we'll talk about it afterward.
But
all right.
No, I'll have that new setup after we get back from Rocky Mountain. So let's look at September or October, talking to Patrick up at O'Hare's
Homebrew Store.
That one. Let's look at talking to him and doing an episode up there.
No doubt.
Yeah, definitely.
I like it. All right, Gorilla, take me home. You beat me to it. So, the glass is getting somewhat empty. Hold on a second, because I got to be truthful with it.
Chug, chug, chug.
Don't
Gotcha.
Spit. Don't spit.
Didn't spit.
Not since I was 4.
That was on rhythm. Good job, Gorilla. You did better than this guy. So, the Scotch glass is empty. Cigar's getting close to the nub, so I think it's about that time. I want to thank everybody out there for listening, and on behalf of the Gorilla, Lawrence, Greg, and myself, thank you for listening. Check us out at LimCigarCartel.com. Like, share us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Don't be a stranger. Let us know you're out there. I'm Scott Robinson, and on behalf of all of us here at Beyond the Humidor, we look forward to chatting with you on the next episode. But until then, stay healthy and safe. And like I always say, good smoke, good drink, and good life.
Give her the C cup, man.